Speaker, I now yield 3 minutes to the gentleman from Kansas, Mr. Mann.
Gentleman is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you to my friend, the chairman from Arkansas, for your leadership on this effort and for the time. Mr. Speaker, I rise today to discuss the importance of this resolution, which pushes back on unnecessary and burdensome regulation that threatens the livelihoods of people throughout rural America. I introduced the House version earlier this year, and I'm proud to see the Senate version pass the Senate earlier, and we're finally now coming to the House today. The designation of the lesser prairie chicken as threatened in places like Kansas is unacceptable, and this rule should have no force or effect until Congress is consulted. Farmers, ranchers, and agricultural producers are American heroes. They're the backbone of America, and they are working tirelessly every day to keep us all fed while dealing with the burdens of inflation, drought, and market fluctuations. The last thing they need is the federal government handcuffing them with senseless red tape. One Kansas rancher, Southwest Kansas, recently told me that he spotted a lesser prairie chicken on one of his pastures where his cattle were grazing. He did the right thing, and he reported that, and then he had to move all the cattle from not only that pasture, but the adjoining pastures adjacent to it as well, just because the U.S. Fish and Wildlife recorded that bird. The truth is, Kansas producers have voluntarily conserved more than 40,000 acres of habitat for the lesser prairie chicken through both private investment and conservation programs at the U.S. Department of Agriculture. The population of the lesser prairie chicken rises and falls with rainfall, but not the normal activity of farmers and ranchers. Last year, we were in a historic drought throughout the Great Plains. It's obviously then affecting the lesser prairie chicken population and also wheat harvest, which was devastatingly small this year. Big government doesn't need to step in and force farmers and ranchers to upend their operations for the sake of this bird, whose population is predicted to bounce back on its own with rainfall, as it did in 2016 after another devastating drought in 2013. Make no mistake, the lesser prairie chicken is being used as a proxy in the administration's war on fossil fuel and production agriculture. With this vote today, we can either stand for big government overregulation that puts producers out of business, or we can stand with producers' rights to private property and self-determination. I know where I stand, and I urge my colleagues to support this resolution. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. With that, I yield back.